Hi, I'm Nick, the Awkward Yeti, and this is another Patreon Creator Chronicles. I'm going to start off by showing you my real desk. When I first started doing these, I had just moved and it was pretty clean. But this is a real look at my desk. So I've got two used mugs here. This is the one from today, and my notebooks, and I couldn't find notebooks, so I started just writing on papers, and this is my giant mess. I basically know where everything is, but that's the more realistic view of my desk. Today's topic is going to be a commonly asked question, which is, what are your inspirations? And well, I read newspaper comics as a kid. Every day I would read them. Sometimes I'd read them with my dad, or he'd read them to me. And it was something that was a big part of my childhood. So I was a huge fan of course, Calvin and Hobbes, The Far Side, Garfield. My grandpa was also a cartoonist. He did cartoons for his Navy newsletter and the Board of Education newsletter, but he did all these cards and comics just for fun that he would share with people, and my family has a lot of these. He died when I was 5, so I didn't really get to know him as a cartoonist. It was just something I kind of picked up, and I was always very inspired by how good his look. He had a great sense of humor, and I always loved his signature. I actually had it tattooed on my arm. It was kind of a weird situation, like, do you flex, do you not flex when you show an arm tattoo? I'm not flexing, but I don't think it's any better if I do. So there's the signature. I got really into The Simpsons as well, and I would say I do incorporate a fair amount of inspiration from there. One of them being the background elements, like the text on the books and signs and things like that The Simpsons really mastered. I would say that was something that always stuck with me, and something that if I ever made an animated series, I would want a lot of these subtle jokes throughout. Like every little piece of the background has something to say rather than just being there for no reason. I like the meaning of these things. In terms of webcomics, I would say my biggest influence was the Oatmeal. I loved to see how he was able to make a business out of it, and his comics were obviously very funny, it's very successful, and I thought, well, if you can actually find a way to do this for a living, then maybe I need to start thinking about that, and that's kind of what got me looking into that, and eventually was able to quit my day job and my corporate job. So I really appreciate that. And a lot of the webcomic people, we're all friends and we talk, we have groups, we're very supportive of one another. There's no competition or anything. We just want everybody to succeed. Patreon obviously is a great way to connect with people, with other creators, get to know more. This Creator Chronicles, for example, you're getting a lot more behind the scenes with what I do than you normally would. I didn't really want to be on camera for a long time, but I finally decided it's time to share some of the things that I've learned, and so I'm trying to be a little bit helpful. I hope you've enjoyed some of the series, and if you'd like to continue to support me, you can shop on my store or support me at patreon.com/theawkwardyeti, and that helps me fund some of my ongoing projects. It helps me through some of the lulls and just helps me generally pay the bills. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.